أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight is our 19th lesson in our series on learning to read the Holy Quran. And tonight we're going to go over what we can call shortcuts for the long vowels. If you remember from our lessons on long vowels, we learned that there are three long vowels. One with a combination of fatha and alif, another one with a combination of kasra and ya, and another one with a combination of dhamma and waw. So the three long vowels are pronounced a, e, and u. These are the three long vowels. However, when you start reading the Quran, you're going to notice some different kinds of markings or different combinations of markings. And what we call these are the shortcuts for the long vowels. So for example, we have here, this was one of the long vowels that we learned. This is the letter dal, and what does it have? It has a fatha and it has an alif. So the way that we pronounce this is da. This is the letter dal, and the long vowel sound on it is a. So we say da. Now what we have here are two different shortcuts that you may see depending on which print of the Quran you're reading. So one print of the Quran will have the shortcut for the long vowel written this way. What it'll do is it'll place a small alif on top of a letter. When you see this small alif on top of a letter, it tells you to pronounce that letter with the same long vowel as this combination right here. So these two have the same sound. This is the, and this is also pronounced the. Now what about the third one? This one over here. Well, this is also pronounced the same way. But some prints of the Quran will write it in this way. They'll write the shortcut in this way. They will still put the fatha on top of the dal, but they will put a small alif in front of it. So you'll see these two in combination, the fatha and the small alif in front of it. Sometimes you'll see that there will be an extra letter that is not pronounced. This is called alif maqsuda, which we'll learn in later lessons, but just to give you a quick example of where this happens. So we have this word or this name, the name of one of our prophets, Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So first we have a meme and this is mu, but this important part is the second part right here. So some prints of the Quran will put a fatha on the sin and then a small alif on top of the ya. So you should not pronounce this Musa ya. See, this ya is silent. It just carries this small alif here. So this is Musa. And some prints of the Quran, instead of putting a fatha on the sin, what they will do is that they will just put a small alif on top of the sin like that. So you say Musa. So both of those are pronounced the same way. So to get back to our main examples, this is pronounced that, this is pronounced that, this is also pronounced that. So as we said, some prints of the Quran will use the small alif on top of the dal, and others will use a combination of fatha and small alif to give us that shortcut. So you'll have the long vowel a without the alif. Our next example is with the long vowel of e. So here you have, so we use the letter ha here because it makes it easy, because you'll see this a lot in the Quran. So you have the letter ha here, has a kasra and it has a ya after it. So the kasra and ya produce the long sound e. So we pronounce the ha with that long vowel, we say he. This is pronounced he. Now, this is the form of the ha when it's the last letter of a word. So sometimes you will see a small alif underneath it. So whenever you have a small alif under a letter, you will know to pronounce it with this long vowel sound, e. So this is pronounced he. This is pronounced he, this is pronounced he, and then in some other prints of the Quran, if you were with us in the previous session, we were reading Quran and you were following along in the verses, that print of the Quran that we use uses this combination for the shortcut, where it'll put a kasra under the letter, but it'll put this form of the ya after the letter. So the ya is either written like this or it's also written like that. We didn't go over this form, but this is another form in which it's written. So it will place a kasra under the letter and then a small ya after it to let you know that you should pronounce it with the long vowel. You should say he instead of he. You should say he. So this is pronounced he, but this is the shortcut with the small alif underneath a letter. It's pronounced he. And when you have this combination of alif and this small ya, this is also pronounced he. All three have the same long vowel. So on to our next example. Here we have the letter ha with a dhamma followed by a waw. So you know the combination of dhamma and waw produces the long vowel oo. So we pronounce this letter ha with the long vowel. So we say who. We say who. So here again we have our lowercase ha, which looks like it's the end of a word, and you'll see this a lot in the Quran. So this is an upside down and backwards dhamma. What this tells you to do is to read this ha with the same long vowel that we read here. So this is pronounced who. See, this first one is pronounced who. The second one is also pronounced who. Or in another print of the Quran, you will see it written this way, where they'll put a dhamma on top of the letter and then a small waw after it, letting you know that you should pronounce this letter with the long vowel oo. So all three of these are pronounced who. This is pronounced who. This has the shortcut where you pronounce it who. This is also pronounced who. So let's look at some words where we will see these shortcuts for the long vowels. One is the word Rahmanu. Now, in the Quran, most places, there's no alif after this meme in most prints. So you'll see that we have the letter Ra and Ha. The Ra has Fatha, the Ha has Sakin. So we read these two together, Rah. Now we have this meme with a small alif on top of it. This small alif on top of the meme tells us to pronounce this ma with a long vowel sound. So we say Rahma, and then the noon has a dhamma, so we say no. Rahmanu. So this right here, this is one way that the shortcut is written. It's written with a single small alif on top of the letter. Now the same word in another print of the Quran may be written differently. It may be written this way, with a fatha on the meme and then a small alif after it. So this will also be pronounced Rahmanu. Let's go back to the first one. See, this one just has the small alif on top of the meme, and then this one has the fatha and the small alif in combination. Both of these, this one, first one, and the second one, they get pronounced the same way. Rahmanu. Now we have another word. So here we have a meme with the small alif on top of it. We pronounce this ma. Then we have the lam with kasra, which is le, kaf with kasra, which is ke. So this word is pronounced malike. So this small alif on top of the meme is one way to write this, one way that you'll see this. Another is, once again, the combination of the fatha and small alif. This is also pronounced malike. This first one is malike. This one is also malike. It's the same word, same pronunciation, just two different ways that you may see it written in different prints of the Quran. Another word. So here we have the letter Sad with kasra, is pronounced si. Then we have Ra with the small alif on top. So this is pronounced Ra. And then Ta with fatha is pronounced Ta. So it's pronounced Sirata. So this small alif on top of the ra is one way you will see it. Another way you'll see it in a different print is the fatha and small alif. So this is also pronounced sirata. So now what about the other short vowels? I'm sorry, the other long vowels. Well, you'll see this one a lot, so we went over a few examples. The other ones, here we have the letter ra with fatha, and then we have a ba with shad. So we have to connect the two. You remember from our lesson on the shad, when a letter has shad, it connects to the letter on its right. So we say rab, and then the ba has a kasra. So without stopping the sound of the ba, you say rabbi. You have to pronounce this kasra for the ba. The shad connects it to the ra, and then you read the ba with a kasra. You say rabbi. And then you have this ha with a small alif under it. So this is pronounced he. This ha with the small alif under is pronounced he. So we have rabbihi. Rabbihi. Now, the other way you'll also see this written in a different print of the Quran is the following. It's the same word. See? But this ha will have a kasra followed by this small ya. You'll pronounce it exactly the same way. Rabbihi. When it has a small alif under, it's he. When it has a kasra and this tiny ya after it, it's also pronounced he. This is Rabbihi, and this one is also Rabbihi. Now our next word and our last word. This is ra with fatha. It's pronounced ra, but it has ba with shad after it. So again, we connect the ba with a ra, we say rab. This time the ba has a fatha. See? So we say ba, but we don't stop the sound of the ba. We say rabba. Now we have the ha with an upside down dhamma. So we pronounce this ha with a long vowel sound, oo. So we say hu. So we pronounce this word rabbahu. So this is one way that the long vowel shortcut for this ha is written. The other is that it will have a dhamma and a small tiny waw after. Not the regular waw, not the actual letter, but you'll see a very small waw after. This is also pronounced rabbahu. The first one is pronounced rabbahu. The second one is also pronounced rabbahu. Same word, same meaning, same pronunciation. It will just be written differently depending on the print of the Quran that you are reading. So that is the end of our lesson for tonight.